Hey guys, this is part 2 of Gain Size That Counts. Yesterday I spoke about the nutrition part of it, pretty much outlining general guidelines of what that youth athlete should be eating in order to gain size. Now understand that from nutrition, that those same principles that I spoke about also apply to fat loss and even like body composition. It's just the different structure of how and when and what you're going to eat, but that's for another day. I put up part 1 below just in case you missed it. There's going to be part 2, and part 2 is going to be all about the training that you should be doing in order to to maximize that new size that you have, how it's going to bridge the gap to that performance on the field. So some of the important the factors that need to be taken into consideration, and it's all relative with the individual who I'm speaking to. It should be strength, power, mobility, and conditioning. So those are basically the things that make an athlete an athlete. Now, when I say the specific person that I'm speaking to, it depends. If I'm talking to a kid and their parent, 12, maybe 8, 9 years old, all these things might have to be addressed, unfortunately, in today's society. If I'm talking to somebody who's a little bit more intermediate advanced, you got to look at these things of what's really going to help them and what's really holding them back. And then the advanced guys, you have to pinpoint and really get here and make sure that these are well and good. Advanced guys are going to come to you, they might come to you with mobility issue with years of being banged up. But let's just talk about the youth person at first. So youth, just strength-wise, one of the biggest things that I want to do with them personally and first is just get them moving properly, teaching them how to bracing, that Valsalva maneuver to lock up against the spine, just proper movement mechanics. And this is all, the strength work is primarily going to be body weight, say sandbag, kettlebell, in their own perspective progressions within each lift that I'm talking about. And as they show me that they're efficient in all these, I'm going to advance their movements a touch from going from one movement to the next, like as us coaches do. The last final step, what they go to is a barbell. So once they master all these, then they're going to step up to there. Obviously, so we want to work on increasing just their overall general strength. It's just general strength, making sure that they can produce force and resist against force. Now, your intermediate guy, it depends. The first thing I'm going to look at is his strength, basically his maximal strength. Because down the road, these guys are going to be working on maximal strength. For a tidbit, the easiest, most fastest way to increase somebody's performance is to be able to make them produce more force and resist against forces. So the easiest way for us is just to get them hell stronger, and that's fun and easy, to be honest. So the intermediate guy, you want to see, they come to you saying, I've been lifting for years, blah, blah, blah. He could be, I don't know, let's just say 200-pound guy. But his numbers compared to his body weight are nothing. Like, they're really down in just the big lifts, say squat, dead, bench press. And you can throw a clean in there. Maybe he doesn't clean, I don't know. Say his numbers aren't up to par with what he weighs. You really want to work on his maximal strength. Maybe his body composition is just off, and we have to look at, part 1, the nutrition aspect. So what we're talking about here is relative strength. We want to see how strong he really is compared to his body weight. And if his numbers are awesome and he's actually very, very strong, we're not going to worry about his maximal strength increasing that. We're going to work on maintaining it. What we have to do is work on the next part, power. Basically, how fast he could move force from either a dead stop or from point A to point B as fast as possible. And there's all different ways that we're going to go about that. For the most part, if he's younger, I'm a proponent of Olympic lifts. I may go into some O-lift progressions and teach. At the same time, though, I'm going to use all different med ball work in all different directions, all different types of jumps, say bounds, skips, everything that's powerful, strong, and explosive. So then, basically, the advanced guy, like I said before, you have to figure out what he really truly needs and what he really truly is. There's no point really, if he hasn't mastered lifting at this point, don't even get into it. There's other ways to produce force and power. So basically, that's in the grand scheme of things what we're getting into. Just to know, so when the youth guys, once they can produce enough, there is no power without strength. So these coincide with each other. You can't move 200 pounds fast if you can't move 200 pounds to begin with. So you have to be able to increase your maximal strength to become very powerful. So one of the other factors that gets into what we're going to do with these people is now their nutrition's on point, they're gaining some size, them extra calories are actually being laid down, new muscle fibers, new pavement, or like you say, thicker fibers, they're increasing in size. We want to make sure that their mobility stays on point. So proper warm-up, proper stretching, off-day stretching, and even cool-down stretching. So we're going to go warm-up plus cool-down, because we want to make sure that all ranges of motion and directions that the body moves stay applicable and stay optimal, in other words. You don't want to go crazy with that. And even hit up some off days, and you can get specifically with what they need, but with testing and different factors. And the only other thing that comes into play is conditioning, and this is where it gets fun, because you could basically play around with what you want with conditioning. I kind of have the mental set of, if you take a baseball player and condition him to be as good as a wrestler, he's going to be a better baseball player, because he's not going to get tired. I know that's an out there type of thinking, but I have, because then people will say, well, a lot of coaches make their kids run long distances, not understanding energy systems and whatnot, and not understanding that's not truly defining them or getting them better for their sport. So that's the other thing that we want to get into, and maybe I'll talk about that in part 3. So the only other thing, especially for your intermediate and advanced guy, and possibly your youth guy, because I am throwing some sandbag stuff, the only other style of training that I want to implement with them is strongman training. The reason why, because it's fun, it's unconventional, and it puts your body in predicaments or positions that are just uncomfortable, and you have to get through it. I mean, uncomfortably unsafe at the same time. So we want to talk about different carries, all different carries of all types, farmers, overhead, racked, obviously regular farmers being here, all different, say, tire flips, to truly learn, easiest way to teach somebody triple extension without worrying too much about bar movement, blah, blah, blah. Let's see, keg loads or odd object loads. This is pretty fun for them, like loading a fire hydrant or loading all different sandbag stuff, sandbag cleans, even keg cleans, all different types of stuff. You could even get into thick barbell work or thick dumbbell work. The options there are limitless with strongman stuff, and you want to train them. One, that keeps the monotony of doing everything in the gym always, it breaks it up a little bit. It keeps it fun for them, and it's unconventional, and there's something about it that brings about that primitive nature and rawness. And 100 pounds on a barbell is 100 pounds, but 100 pounds in an odd object is a lot different. It's a ton different. than what you're used to. And part of sport is you're going to be in weird, awkward positions. So you have to train the body to be able to sustain and maintain and produce force in weird positions. So these are the different factors that you have to take in consideration in your training. And this is just a relative overall consensus. Obviously, we're going to get into the fundamental lifts with dumbbell work and barbell work. Except for the youth guy, he has to learn first all different positions on lifts and how to brace and produce force safely and effectively. So you do that with bodyweight stuff, using full range motions, isometric movements, so his body can sustain a force or contract against a force for a period of long time. Think of your pull-up, a 90-degree pull-up hold that kids actually gets them better at doing pull-ups. Sandbag work is pretty easily coachable. It's not, it's not rocket science. Teaching a kid how to keep his chest up, back flat, hips down, knees out. Make sure you're looking not necessarily up but straight. And kettlebell work. Kettlebell work is pretty easy to teach, fun, and we don't get into the crazy lifts with that, but it's effective, and that's why I use it. So basically, that's the only other thing with all this, say, strongman training. The only one thing that we're going to get into is to stay athletic and stay powerful is straight up speed training. And with speed, I don't necessarily go into crazy detail on stuff. I'm not producing or making Olympic sprinters out of my place. I want them to work on their running mechanics and sprint from all different positions that start, that stop, and basically have their footwork, which is part of power, and build that mind-body connection with speed ladder, say with ladder work, different hoops, different hurdles, and there's all different type of drills that you could do: single leg, double leg, changing direction. That's an excellent one that I like to do. Change of direction drills, where I tell them to run 20 seconds, say laterally. Upon my whistle or my go, they're going to immediately change direction. It actually makes them, I teach them how to basically wedge step or hockey step and push back off that outside foot back the other way, which minimizes their time that they're moving from one direction to the other. So, and then we will get into some full sprints, and it's not long. I want them well rested, and it's 100% effort when we do it. So I give them long rest periods and whatnot. And it seems odd, but understand that a real 100% sprint, you're going to need time. And I'm talking about like a minute plus. You're going to need time to really slow down, calm everything down, to be able to produce force again. So basically, that's your overall consensus of all the different factors that you should be taking into consideration. I mean, strength is broken down into different parts. So with your youth guy, you do want to lay down that hypertrophy work with body weight, sandbagging, kettlebell. And I'm talking about that basically that sweet spot, 6 to 10 reps. Time under tension, you can do that with body weight as well. Think of your gymnast, they get pretty jacked. It takes a long time, years of training to get jacked with body weight stuff. And of course, overloading the movement with some type of load will produce better results, but you can do it. So using time under tension, hypertrophy work, and you want to lay down some new muscle and get them guys posteriorly stronger, because a lot of kids, as coaches, you kind of know that if they are working on their own, what are they doing? Bench pressing, push-ups, arms, shoulders, isolation work, which doesn't carry over to the field. Not like they think it will, all the effort that they put into it. But you want to make sure that everything behind them is strong as hell, because we all know to be able to jump, run fast, and move a ton of weight, you need everything behind you to be strong as hell. So this is part 2, all the different factors of gain size that counts. Next part, I'm going to go over some mobility work and conditioning work. Conditioning could get very interesting, but if you like this and you like what I talk about, check out the Triumph Strength Project. Leave a comment on this video below. Let me know what you think, and check it out on the blog. On the right-hand side, there's a box where you put your email address, and I'll give you a ton of free stuff. Till later.